That other guy is on the witness stand. The jury's going to say he had a gun in his car. He says he didn't pull it. Other guy says he pulled it. Which one of these guys do I believe?
Yeah.
We are the Arms Attorneys. Today we are talking about the only pistol that is safe for you to carry in your car, complete with real Emily and Richard client stories. Buckle up. It's a good one. Before we get started, share your support for the Second Amendment by hitting the like button.
All right. So in the past, we've talked about types of modifications, things that are good or don't impact self-defense, things that are really, really bad, things that mess up self-defense trials, and we tell you to avoid. This might be an exception to the rule. We have a tale of two different road ragers, and I think this comes up in road rage specifically, and this is an exception to the rule. And I think people would be well served if they followed this advice.
Yeah, so generally we say, look, if you're making a modification, so long as it's a legal modification to your firearm, you're not putting a vertical foregrip on your pistol and making an AOW, that as long as it is function enhancing, fine. It makes you a better shot. It makes you a quicker shot. It makes things easier for self-defense, protecting yourself, protecting your family. Fantastic. Do it. But if it's not function enhancing, probably not. But I mean, what are we really talking about?
Yeah, cheeky inscriptions like smile, mother effer, or today's a good day to die under dust cover. I mean, things like that. They don't make you more lethal. They don't make you get on target easier. They don't keep you more accurate.
Yeah.
They just kind of create needless issues at trial.
They do. And generally speaking, under non-function enhancing, we'd say anything kind of goofy you're doing, like if you're like, painting your gun with like, I don't know.
The Duck Hunter blaster from Nintendo.
Right. Or like there's like zombie blood all over it or something. It's like, like that doesn't look great. But this is the exception to that, which is when you are traveling around in your vehicle, what kind of gun should you have?
I think you've convinced me you need a pink gun.
You need something that is not going to be
silver or black.
Yeah, because people are going to lie on you. That is what we're here talking about today. People lying on you, because it is happening more and more frequently, and it is like when people talk about like road raging and you're road raging one another, peak road rage isn't flashing your gun at someone. Peak road rage is calling the police and making up an allegation to get the other person arrested.
Yeah, I think that's really what it comes down to. And road rage cases, they are, I will say, for self-defenders, one of the worst situations to find yourself in. Because, like in most states, it only takes the testimony of a single witness for the police to find a probable cause to arrest another person. So literally, somebody brake checked you and just gets pissed off and calls 911 and lies, says, oh, this guy road raged me, pulled a gun on me. If the cops go up to this person, talk to him, they're like, I probably believe him. Boom, this other person got charged with a felony. That's a pretty scary low threshold.
It is incredibly low. And you have a gun found in your car, that is corroboration. It is just going to be, you are on the witness stand, that other guy is on the witness stand. The jury's going to say, he had a gun in his car. He says he didn't pull it. Other guy says he pulled it. Which one of these guys do I believe?
Yeah, well,
that's it.
And well, especially, I'll say for these liars, especially, what they tell the police, what they tell 911 operators is the gun was black or silver, or silver and black. And then, that covers, I'd say, probably 90% of firearms.
Yeah.
If not higher.
Or, look, it is possible even they say, just handgun. What did it look like? Well, I don't remember. But you know what? If you have a sparkly pink handgun,
they're going to remember.
They're going to remember. So, it is, unfortunately, unless you have one of those internal dash cams in your car, which we've discussed as well. Personally, I don't like creating evidence.
Sure.
Richard does. But
I'm a reasonable person, though.
So in the absence of, you have a dash cam that shows both the inside and the outside of your vehicle, and you can definitively prove you never pulled your gun, having the pink sparkly gun is your best defense. And if you think that it doesn't happen very often, that someone just makes up this kind of allegation, you're 100% wrong. Because, we
probably talk to hundreds of people a year.
Yeah. And sometimes I have clients who are like, I didn't do it.
Wink.
And I'm like, okay, like they very clearly did it.
Sure.
But then there are times like I've had clients, and we've talked about this before, who actually did not have a gun in the car.
Right.
And so luckily didn't get arrested for that reason.
Had actually been in a road rage firearm situation before, and so when the police showed up and said, "Hey, this guy pulled a gun on you," he goes, "Please, for the love of God, tear my car apart. I do not have a gun." Because, if the cops hadn't have investigated and this went landed on some detective's desk, who knows, he might have signed off on it.
Oh, yeah. And so just to show you how outrageous these sort of things can be, I have a client from years ago, years and years and years ago now, Lord, and he was in a road rage situation, and it was pretty ugly, right? It was like the other guy ended up throwing like a big Sonic drink on his car. It exploded all over his windshield and stuff. But he is like, look, I never touched my gun. He's in a pickup. He's in a very rural part of Texas. So of course
he's got a gun in his car.
He's got a gun in his car. And I will say, even in our favor, the gun was like in a case I want to say it was in a case like on the floorboard of the passenger seat or something that was like pretty hard to get. Like, it's like, did he really maneuver it back in the case by the time the police got there? Maybe, but that's like not, we're not talking about something in the center console here. So, guy flags down police. Hey, this kid pointed a gun at me. Police find him. I mean, it's just minutes from when it happened. He's like, I have a gun, but no, I didn't do it. Of course, they're like, sure, buddy. And they arrest him. And it's a battle of who do you believe more? And to just show you how outrageous it is, they still prosecuted this guy, even though the alleged victim had a conviction on his criminal history for
false report to a police officer.
Making a false report to a police officer that someone pulled a gun on him.
It doesn't get much more clear than that.
No, it doesn't. And they still went after my guy. So, I mean, it is just, if someone tells that lie, you are in a whole heap of trouble unless you have a really, really good way to disprove it.
And, we kind of talked about it earlier, why self-defense cases are so insidious, because it's a he said most of the time. So we have two witnesses, and it comes down to who does a jury believe? Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of reasons why somebody doesn't want to testify at trial. First off, you have a right not to testify against yourself. Great. In most situations, criminal defense especially, the general is you don't want to testify if you don't have to, right? You don't want to do that. So anytime you have to go up on stand, bad time. But you could just be, maybe you just don't come off as very personable, or maybe you come off as not very confident, or maybe you have a speech impediment. I've seen lots of different reasons why. We've talked to clients here, reviewing cases, getting ready for trial, and there's something there where it's like, this person can't testify. Maybe you're kind of a hothead, because it's the prosecution's job to set you off on cross-examination. So what do you do whenever it's a who do they believe, and now you got both your hands tied behind your back because, hey, you're not in a really good position to testify. Because you're not going to be good on the stand. Some people aren't. And here's the thing. It is really hard to sit up on that witness stand. I am basically a public speaker for a living. That is what I do for a living. Richard put me up on the witness stand once. I did. I will never forgive him for it because it was awful. I mean, I was there. I wasn't even talking about something I did. I was talking about a situation that had happened in a courtroom. You did a good job. Thank you. But like my hands were like shaking and I was sweating and I got asked 10 questions all said and done. Yeah, that's about right. It was terrifying. It was horrible. So when you're up there fighting for your own life on the witness stand, I cannot even imagine. And even people who think they're going to come off as great might screw it up. Also, you almost caused a mistrial. Yeah. There was a number of allegations levied against it. I said what I needed to say. All right, you remember. All right. Well, so you see why these things can be really, really, thin ice. So maybe the pink gun is the answer to all of our problems. The pink gun is the answer to all of our problems. I will tell you that upon reflection, upon speaking to Edwin Walker, who is the biggest proponent of pink gun, upon speaking to my husband, I have made the determination that I get to buy myself whatever pink sparkly gun that I want and keep it in my car. But we hope you enjoyed this discussion. If you did, consider subscribing, hitting that like button, and help us fight the anti-2A algorithm by sharing this video. And please, comment for us below. Go out there, get your shopping done for your pink gun. We'll link the one in the thumbnail in the description. Until next time, we're the Armed Attorneys.